48 degrees and sunny here at MetLife Stadium. The Redskins without 6 starters plus rookie running back Matt Jones today. And for more, we send it down to the field and welcome in Holly Saunders. Holly.
Kenny, that's absolutely right. Washington's offensive line has been hit the hardest by these injuries, with their starters today combining for only 14 previous NFL starts, and many eyes will be on Josh Laribas. He's starting for the first time, his first game at center, and told me just moments ago he wants every snap to be absolutely perfect for Kirk Cousins. He's putting that pressure on himself, and make no mistake, the Redskins know exactly what they're up against. One of the best defenses the NFL has to offer to add further insult to injuries, guys.
Thanks, Holly. His only previous start came at left guard last season. The Jets won the toss, elect to defer, so Nick Folk will get things started. Back deep for the Redskins, Rashad Ross, who returned a kickoff, 101 yards for a touchdown in this stadium last month against the New York Giants. Ross will take it out. Wrapped up shy of the 15-yard line by Jamari Lattimore. The fourth-year quarterback out of Michigan State, Kirk Cousins, leads the Redskins out onto the field. 126 completions over the first 5 games. That is a new Redskins franchise record.
Yeah, but I think the one thing that's happened here over the last couple of weeks, his performance down the stretch, the victory against the Philadelphia Eagles, had them close against the Atlanta Falcons last year, had the slip in the pick 6 in overtime, but a lot of the guys starting to rally around Kirk Cousins.
Without 3 starting offensive linemen today. Alfred Morris in the backfield. Redskins start from the 13-yard line on the slant. Pass could not be handled by Ryan Grant. Remember, it was Grant who slipped in overtime in the Redskins' last game down in Atlanta, leading to the interception return for a touchdown.
And we've talked about Josh Laribas, his first start at center, but also Ty Nsekhe at left tackle, in for Trent Williams. And you go back to Sean Laval at left guard. That entire left side from center on out to tackle. New people, new starters from week 1.
Sheldon Richardson in for the Jets, making his return from a 4-game suspension. On 2nd and 10, this is Morris, and he works his way out to the 16-yard line, gain of 3. It will be 3rd down and 7.
Tremendous talent up front, the ability to rotate quality players in that defensive line. They've got active linebackers inside and out, but really the big thing for this Jets defense is coverage, and it all starts with Darrelle Revis at corner. The way that they're able to blend their coverage and their pressure makes it very difficult on offenses.
Jets, Darrell, have stopped their opponents on the last 18 third down attempts. Play clock winding down. Cousins on 3rd and 7. Throws, and the catch is made by Pierre Garçon, but he is just shy of the marker.
Playing that tight coverage on the outside, going against Darrelle Revis. He's running a little bit short. There's got to be a catch and run at that point, and a sure tackle by Darrelle Revis to keep him short. So it goes to 19 consecutive 3rd downs this Jets defense has stopped.
Press way inside his 10-yard line as the Redskins go 3 and out. Jeremy Curley back deep for the Jets. Curley moving to his left, calls for a fair catch around the 25-yard line. 53-yard punt. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 3-1 this season. He becomes the first quarterback to start for 5 different teams against the Washington Redskins. He made his first career start against Washington back in 2005.
Yeah, and it's all a bonus for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Never expected to have the type of NFL career he has experienced coming out of Harvard. The one thing that he has to work on, you saw the 6 interceptions there. That's something that he has to fix. He's got a great defense. He's got a strong running game. The one thing he has to do, eliminate those mistakes, those interceptions at the quarterback spot.
1st and 10 for the Jets. From the 25-yard line, off the fake to Chris Ivory. Pass is caught, and then the ball comes loose. And the Redskins have recovered after Eric Decker coughed it up. Rashad Breeland on the recovery.
quick slant. You know you're going to take shots here, so coming out of the slot, pushing it to the outside. There's the break inside. Safety help from Deshaun Golson, and then rallying over to get the hit on the football. Tyshawn Jarrett jars it loose.
It was deemed that Decker had possession long enough, and then Breland on the recovery for Washington. So on the first play from scrimmage, the Jets, who are +6 in turnover ratio this season, turn it over, and the Redskins have 1st and 10 at the Jets' 37. Cousins from the shotgun, high snap from Laribas. Pass is caught by the rookie out of Duke, Jamison Crowder. He's wrestled down by Revis after picking up a first down.
I'll tell you, some athleticism from Morgan Moses, the right tackle. Right here, he's going straight out to help out here. That's some great timing right there to be able to get that done. If he's not there, Buster Screen makes that tackle for negative yards.
It's Morgan Moses' 6th career start. That's the most among any of the Redskins offensive linemen today.
You can see he was a seasoned vet on that play there, Kenny.
1st and 10, here's Morris. Cuts to his right. Inside the 20 to the Jets' 19-yard line, gain of 6.
And it's kind of one of the big topics of conversation with Redskins fans. You know, Alfred Morris has the big game in the opening game of the season, and then his carries have been restricted over the last few weeks. So, with Matt Jones out today, obviously he's going to get more attempts. Head coach Jake Gruden said, earlier this season, Alfred is our lead dog in the run game, but hasn't been that way the last couple of games.
Redskins send in 2 tight ends, 2nd down and 4. Again, it is Morris. And this time, wrapped up from behind by David Harris, loss of a yard.
And as the game goes on, one of the things that we have to see is how the absence of Deshaun Jackson, that vertical stretch down the field, loosening up that running game, plays into effect. No Jordan Reed, 3rd down. It's a perfect opportunity right here for the Washington Redskins. He was a go-to guy on 3rd down. He's not here.
3rd down and 5. Jets have now stopped the last 19 3rd down attempts. Play clock at 2. Cousins calling for the snap. Cousins with time, throws, and the catch is made by Grant.
You expect this play to pop a little bit earlier. Keep your eyes on number 14, Ryan Grant, the shallow cross working against Buster Screen. Buster goes underneath, aggressive play underneath, almost gets the deflection. Good concentration by Ryan Grant, knows he's going to take the hit.
So the Redskins convert on 3rd down, ending the Jets streak. From the Jets 14. Cousins lobs one up for Morris. Alfred Morris inside the 5 and then knocked out of bounds. Picks up another Washington 1st down.
This is one of the areas that Washington should try to exploit. You're going to go back and watch game film. Ryan Matthews, Darren Sproles against the Eagles. Into the flat right there. How do we match up? We know we're going to have a tough time when we're throwing to our wide receivers against these great corners, against this tough secondary. Can we get our running backs involved in the game? Do they draw coverage from those linebackers?
1st and goal from the 3. Morris in the backfield. The give to Morris. And he takes it down to the 1-yard line. Marcus Gilchrist, the tackle. Jets over their first 4 games defensively have been terrific in the red zone, allowing only 3 touchdowns, and they forced 3 turnovers as well.
That was a big point of contention last week with the Washington Redskins, getting these turnovers in the game but not turning them into any points. An early takeaway here in this game, and they're right on the doorstep trying to get a touchdown.
Only 3 points off turnovers for the Redskins so far this season. On 2nd and goal, Cousins to the end zone, touchdown, Pierre Garçon.
That is an awesome release by Pierre Garçon, working against Darrelle Revis. The quick slant off the goal line. Watch the release. He's open immediately. Little stab outside. Darrelle Revis overcommits, and he just breaks across his face. That was way too easy.
First touchdown allowed by the Jets in the first quarter this season. Redskins with the short field following the turnover committed by Eric Decker. Dustin Hopkins out to attempt the 33-yard extra point. Straight through. So early first quarter, Garçon with the game's first touchdown. 7-0 Washington.
This game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, no fares, nothing to hide.
Early turnover leads to points for the Redskins.
One of the things you can't do, you're coming in against a team that has injuries across the board, and you should have the opportunity to have some success today in your first series of the game. You give your opponent a short field.
Back Stacy will take it out. The former St. Louis Ram. Out across the 15. Jerron Johnson brought him down. Turnover on the Jets' first play from scrimmage. Decker coughs it up. Redskins take advantage.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
Redskins lead 7-0. Jets will start from their 17-yard line. Their second play from scrimmage. The toss to Chris Ivory. And Ivory is tripped up down across the 20 to the 22 for a gain of 5.
And one of the guys that was out of the lineup, along with Eric Decker, in their only loss this year against the Philadelphia Eagles. So Eric Decker, we're going to keep our eye on him. He has the fumble on the first play of the game, but to take some of that pressure away from Brandon Marshall, to have that receiver on the opposite side that defense has to worry about.
Decker with a touchdown in all 3 games he has played in this season. On 2nd and 5, the toss again to Chris Ivory. And Ivory is wrestled out of bounds about a yard shy by Keenan Robinson as we check out the Redskins defensive unit.
Well, everybody is healthy in the front. But again, this week we've got both corners out, D'Angelo Hall, Chris Culliver. But last week against an explosive Atlanta offense with Julio Jones and Matt Ryan, Bashad Breeland and Will Blackman did a nice job there. But really, to me, the important thing today will be the guys down inside. The Jets are obviously going to have some passing to keep you honest, but if they're going to have success today, it's going to be through Chris Ivory in that rushing game.
Jets with an extra blocker and Brent Qualley along with 2 tight ends, and Ivory looks to have the first down.
I tell you what, that is an outstanding tackle, because when you watch the Jets on film, Chris Ivory runs violently, and he does not get brought down very easily. Watch this perfect form tackle. Fit, matched, driven back. That is excellent by Bashad Breeland. Now, we just talked about him in the passing game. You can see that from the run support right there. That matchup should go to Chris Ivory. That's a heck of a tackle.
Breeland starting for the injured D'Angelo Hall. Fitzpatrick off the play fake, sets up the screen to Ivory. He has running room. First down and more. Ivory pushed out of bounds at midfield by Perry Riley Jr. after a gain of 23 on the screen.
I tell you, this is a great sell job, and it's one of the things that's part of the screen element. It's timing and sell. Watch these two guys sell the screen on the pass rush. Kind of invite Ryan Kerrigan up the field and then just dump it off into that open zone. Good blocking downfield. Got some of your big guys out hustling into the secondary.
3 wide receivers for the Jets. Another in motion from midfield on first down. It's Ivory. Another good job of tackling by the Redskins. Keenan Robinson. And then finished off by Perry Riley Jr. Time for a game break to Los Angeles. Kurt Menefee.
Well, the Detroit Lions trying to get their first win of the season. Matthew Stafford benched last week, but he's bounced right back. First possession, 20-yard score to Lance Moore, and they're up 7-0 on the Bears.
All right, thanks very much, Kurt. First 0-5 start for the Lions since 2008. They finished 0-16, of course, under John Marinelli. A couple of years later, here's Brandon Marshall. And Marshall takes it inside the 40 for a gain of 11. Another Jets first down.
Well, that was interesting. They brought Chris Ivory out, kind of took him out of formation, put him out wide. You would expect the linebacker to walk out with him, but he doesn't. They leave Will Blackman, the starting corner. So you've got the linebacker here on Brandon Marshall. So maybe something there that the Jets saw on film. They're not going to match. They're not going to switch. They're going to play it true. So leave Brandon Marshall in the slot, try to work that linebacker wide receiver matchup.
Fitzpatrick has completed all 3 of his pass attempts. They keep it on the ground with Bilal Powell. His first carry today picks up 2 to the Redskins 38.
And that's what you expect to see here this afternoon. It should be heavy rush. I had an opportunity to visit with Chan Gailey, and I said, sometimes there's that fine line between committing to the run and getting stubborn with the run. And he said, well, if we get close, he goes, I'll definitely be on the stubborn side of that. So expect this to be more run than pass here for the New York Jets.
Decker comes in motion, second down and 8. Again, it is Powell. Gain of 2 down to the 36. Trent Robinson, the tackle.
Well, the one group that's really benefited from the change in the style of defense the Redskins are playing this year, defensive coordinator Joe Barry bringing in this one gap, penetrating style front. The defensive line last year was a read and react style, kind of holding the offensive linemen up, not allowing them to get to the linebacker level. This year, they are penetrating gaps. They're doing a nice job this afternoon, disrupting the running game of the Jets.
Fitzpatrick from the shotgun, third down and 6. Jess Mutz gets to the 30 for a first down. Fitzpatrick throws. There is a flag. Catch is made by Decker. Stays on his feet. And takes it all the way down. His knee was down at the 1.
Holding. Number 30, defense. Penalty will be applied. Result of the play, touchdown.
Even Pete Morelli thought he got into.
No, he was ruled out at the 1. And now Pete Morelli signals touchdown.
On the outside, Eric Decker motioning back inside. I had my eyes on Devin Smith breaking across, and then Ryan Fitzpatrick comes back to Eric Decker on the outside. Watch this effort, and he gets all the way down to the 1.
Number 79 is reporting as eligible.
He was touched there by Robinson down at the 1. So it's first and goal for the Jets. Qualley, 79 again, in as the extra blocker. Ivory, he takes a hard hit. Redskins doing a nice job of tackling. This time it's Deshaun Goldson.
I tell you, I am very impressed with how they are tackling Chris Ivory today, because usually the movement is in favor of the Jets, and this Redskin team is hitting him, and they are stopping his progress and driving him back. And we talked to Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator. You've got to have a plan when you tackle a guy like this, and sometimes you're thinking, well, a lot of bodies to the ball, don't give up those extra yards. They're doing a great job just one-on-one right now.
Second and goal. Ivory. This time he is in for the Jets touchdown.
That's the thing about Chris Ivory. You can have a couple of big hits on him, but he's going to keep coming at you. You load it up on that side. You got your tackle in, your big tight end, fullback. Good patience. That's one of the things you'll notice about Chris Ivory as a physical, violent runner. He's also got tremendous patience, start and stop. Once he sees that hole open and he decides to hit it, that's when he's accelerating.
Here's Nick Folk. He has never missed an extra point in his career. And that streak continues. Chris Ivory with his 4th touchdown of the season, tying the game at 7.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by DraftKings. Free one-week fantasy football at DraftKings.com. By Jurassic World on Blu-ray and DVD October 20th. And by Pizza Hut. Bring home the flavor with a twisted crust pizza.
Beautiful day in the New York metropolitan area. Redskins scored first following a Jets turnover. And then the Jets drive 11 plays, 83 yards. Following the Decker 35-yard reception, it was Chris Ivory taking it into the end zone. Ivory coming off a career-best 166-yard game against the Dolphins in London. Ross deep for the Redskins. Pick taken at the 4-yard line. And Ross is down at the 16. Darren Walls, the tackle on special teams. So Decker with the fumble early and then redeemed himself with the 35-yard reception, which leads to the first Jets score of the day. Washington Redskins start from their 16-yard line in a tie game. Cousins handing it off to Alfred Morris, and he loses a couple. Damon Harrison, first Jet in on the tackle, going up against the inexperienced Redskins offensive line.
Yeah, and you wonder how much Coach Callahan, the offensive line coach from the Washington Redskins, with all those new faces in the offensive line, will be able to expand this run game. This is a difficult team to do the zone blocking scheme against, where his guys are kind of shoulder to shoulder running. You're trying to get that defensive line to over pursue and cut back. He wants to mix in some old-fashioned man blocking schemes where you have guards and tackles pulling.
Cousins on 2nd and 12. Pass is caught and taken out to the 18-yard line by Garcon, who has the Redskins touchdown, gain of 4, so it will be 3rd down and 8. Mentioned Bill Callahan. He was the Jets assistant head coach and offensive line coach not too long ago, from 2008 through 2011. Chris Thompson in the backfield, 3rd down and 8. Cousins has completed his last 6 pass attempts. And he makes it 7 for 7. It's a first down for the tight end, Derek Carrier. The ex-49er, hard to bring him down, and Carrier gains 21.
Well, here's something that's real difficult for guys up front. Sheldon Richardson, big defensive lineman, actually coming from depth right here, right up the middle. Picked up, blocked well inside by Josh Laribas. That's a tough job. And here's Derek Carrier coming from the outside, just too big of a cushion by Antonio Cromartie. That's easy. That's an easy throw catch.
Remember Richardson making his debut, coming off the suspension. Here he is. Play action on first down. Cousins to the near side. And a nice catch is made by the fullback Darrell Young. Out to the 46. We check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Arizona trying to keep it rolling today in Pittsburgh. Carson Palmer hooking up with Michael Floyd. That's Palmer's leading 14 touchdown pass. They're up 7-0 in the first quarter. Kenny Moose and Holly.
Thanks, Kurt. Arizona Cardinals at 4-1. They put up a lot of points. 2nd down and 2. Cousins to the outside, off the hand of Garcon.
We had an opportunity to see Arizona last week while you were out there moonlighting in the American League Divisional Series. They looked impressive. They were really good. I mean, I was impressed with that offense. That is a team to watch out west.
I caught part of the game. I checked it out. Got to keep a close eye on you guys.
Good to have you back, Lenny. Not the same without you.
Good to be back following a wild 7th inning on Wednesday.
You ain't kidding.
3rd down and 2. Cousins lays one out. Nice attempt by Chris Thompson, but unable to make the catch, and he remains down.
I tell you, that's a big one right there. You know, if Chris Thompson is not able to get back into the game today, because you can see what they want to do. He's going to come out of the backfield. They're trying to get the matchups against the linebackers. This is what Philadelphia did with Ryan Matthews and Darren Sproles, to try to get the matchups against the linebackers. It's going to be difficult throwing the ball down the field against Darrelle Revis, Antonio Cromartie, Buster Screen all afternoon. So you want to get these running backs involved in the passing game. Chris Thompson has been a difficult matchup all season.
Redskins already without running back Matt Jones today. Now Thompson shaken up. Redskins running back Chris Thompson injured on the last play. Worked on the sidelines. Pressway punting from his 35. Jeremy Curley deep for the Jets. Calls for the fair catch inside the 10-yard line. With 30 seconds remaining in the first quarter, another look at the attempt and then the injury suffered by Thompson. New England Patriots out atop the AFC East at 4-0. And you mentioned the big matchup next week, Jets and Pats.
It's a shocker to see them up on top of the AFC East again, isn't it? Just every season, it's amazing in the era of free agency what the Patriots have been able to do. And head coach Todd Bowles knows how important that game is next week. But the big thing is how does his team handle this game this afternoon? You know who's in the lineup, who's out of the lineup. You've read all that during the course of the week. They just need to come out here, take care of their business so that it's a real meaningful game next week.
Final minute, first quarter. Fitzpatrick on first down, handing off to Ivory, and he's met initially by Kendrick Golston. Gain of just 1. As time winds down, Redskins took a 7-0 lead after the Jets turned the ball over on their first play from scrimmage. And then the Jets marched 11 plays, 83 yards to tie the game. So at the end of 1 here at MetLife Stadium, 3-1 Jets, 2-3 Redskins are tied at 7. The first quarter numbers, the Jets turnover led to the Redskins touchdown. So we begin the second quarter. Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Jets facing a second down and 9, empty backfield from the 10-yard line. Fitzpatrick fires, and that's his first incompletion. It was intended for Decker.
On that back shoulder a little bit, but maybe because of the throwing lane getting closed down. Eric Decker coming from that inside area, pushing up to the top. Little stumble out of there.
Jets empty the backfield again. Third down and 9. Bilal Powell, the running back, split wide to the right. Curley comes in motion.
Brandon Marshall on the running back.
Yep, play clock winding down, and Fitzpatrick takes off. Fitzpatrick has a first down. Out across the 25-yard line.
Well, one of the things that they want Ryan Fitzpatrick to do, though, in that situation is slide at the end, and he takes a pretty good hit here at the end of this. He's more athletic than people give him credit for. We saw this a number of times in the game against Miami. But right here, just slide. Get down and slide. Don't take those extra hits.
Took the hit at the end of the play from Trenton Robinson. Fitzpatrick gained 15. New set of downs for the Jets from their 25. On the toss, it's Ivory. And Chris Ivory has a Jets first down and more. He's across midfield, down the sideline. Finally forced out by Breland at the Redskins' 22-yard line. So Ivory gains 53.
We talked about his feet, his power, his patience. It's all on display right here. Watch him navigate his way, and watch Brandon Marshall come in from the right side of your screen with the block that lets this be a huge run on the outside. Right there, Brandon Marshall continuing to work, gets the block on Will Blackman, and Chris Ivory is down the sideline. Keep working, keep working. Good job by your wide receiver.
Ivory, 11 yards on his first 7 carries today, 53 on that one. And now it is Powell. And he is met immediately by Ricky Jean-Francois.
There's that defensive line this season under defensive coordinator Joe Barry. You're pushing up the field, penetrating up the field. You're not engaging in reading and trying to keep your linebackers clean. You're getting upfield to disrupt the running game.
Loss of 4 on the play. Now second down and 14. 3 wide receivers set. Decker slot to the right. On the delay, it's Powell. And he's wrapped up by Chris Baker. Gain of just 1. Third down and 13.
Good response by the Washington Redskins defense after that big run by Chris Ivory. 2 negative plays back-to-back generated by the defensive line.
Empty backfield, 3rd and 16. Jets must get to the 12 for a first down. They will not. And then the ball comes loose at the end of the play after the reception by Anunwa.
Receiver is ruled down by contact.
But Quincy Anunwa was ruled down by contact after a gain of 10.
Throwing it underneath, seeing if Quincy Anunwa can get the yards for the first down on his own. Clearly down as he stretches out when the ball comes loose. Down right there.
So the Jets send out the field goal unit. It will be a 35-yard attempt from the left hash for Nick Folk. Ryan quickly places it down, and Folk's kick is good. So the key play, the 53-yard run by Chris Ivory. Jets have their first lead of the day.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Ford. We go further so you can. By DirecTV. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV. And by Miller Lite. Back in its original bottle, but not for long. It's Miller time.
Jets with a 10-7 lead over the Redskins. A look at Robert Griffin III in uniform for the first time this regular season. Redskins resting 3 quarterbacks today due to all of the other injuries. They had extra roster spots available.
Yeah, and then one of the things when we do a Washington Redskins game, I always enjoy going out and having the opportunity to visit with Robert Griffin III and out there pregame today working on it. It's been a tough go since that breakout rookie year, but every time you talk to him, he sure does stay in a positive frame of mind.
Colt McCoy, of course, the other Redskins quarterback, has backed up Cousins over the first 5 games with Griffin inactive until today.
I think when you look at a team that's been struggling, a lot of that has to do with stability at the quarterback position, and it's been a challenge for the Redskins here over the last couple of years. And we talked with Kirk Cousins about it yesterday, trying to get to that point where you are the guy. And it's been an open competition between those 3 players, Kirk Cousins, Colt McCoy, and Robert Griffin III, the last couple of years, trying to get some stability and a definitive starter at that quarterback spot.
They all started games last year. Today, 15th career start for Cousins. And his pass is intended for Garcon, who slipped. It will be 2nd and 10.
And it's going to be difficult to get those deeper routes down the field. Obviously, first down, an opportunity where you're thinking run as a defense. You might be able to sneak in a little bit of a medium depth route in that situation. But now as you get further along here in the downs, it's going to be hard against this Jets front to hold that ball and let those deeper routes develop.
Against the Redskins offensive line, we mentioned it earlier. Prior to today, they combined for 14 career NFL starts. Cousins in trouble. Down he goes. Back at the 14-yard line. Sheldon Richardson in his return along with Muhammad Wilkerson, and they celebrate.
Yeah, and that came from the offensive right side. That's where Morgan Moses and Brandon Sheriff are. So that's the one area you think should be secure. And the addition of Sheldon Richardson to this team actually coming from the inside spot, pushing that pocket up the field on that twist.
Richardson, the Jets team MVP last year, went to the Pro Bowl. Wilkerson, their MVP 2 seasons ago. They combined on the sack and a loss of 5. Chris Thompson has returned for the Redskins. 3rd down and 15 on the screen. It's taken out to the 22 by Thompson. Calvin Pryor, the tackle. Redskins will punt it away.
Yeah, and Sheldon Richardson as well. He recognized that screen developing right away. Great feel by the interior of the defense of the New York Jets, sensing that that offensive line group was getting out of there quick. Retrace your steps, find that screen element, and chase it down.
So the Redskins go 3 and out for the 2nd time. Way punting from his own 10-yard line. Pressure from Tommy Bohannon. And Curley takes it out to 30. Crosses the 35. And then out of bounds. 49-yard punt, 5 on the return. Nearly blocked by the fullback, Bohannon. Together, the NFL and the American Cancer Society encourage everyone to join in the fight against breast cancer. Learn more about a Crucial Catch Day and find out how you can help make a crucial catch at NFL.com/pink. Best starting field position of the day for the Jets. The lead 10-7. Fitzpatrick on the slant. It's Decker. He took a hit, coughed it up, but he was ruled down. No, it was ruled an incomplete pass. It's ruled an incomplete pass. 2nd and 10.
Well, I tell you what, I've been impressed with the Redskins defense. They are aggressive. They've got the blitz coming. It's going to be picked up, and you'd expect that to be a little bit more open for Eric Decker in that situation. Look at that. There's 4 Redskins around that catch. Again, these are those tough bang-bang plays. Did he get the 2nd foot down? Was he able to become a runner in that situation? I think it's becoming one of the more difficult calls for the officials to kind of call cleanly here early in the season.
And that is the key phrase. Did he become a runner? It was ruled he did not. On 2nd and 10, Ivory makes it back to the line of scrimmage, gains a yard as we head to Los Angeles for a game break. Kurt.
Coming into today, the Broncos defense or special teams has scored 58% of their points. Right now, they've scored all of their points in Cleveland. Aqib Talib, 63-yard pick 6. It's 10-0 Broncos in the 2nd quarter. Kenny Moose and Holly.
All right, thanks very much, Kurt. 3rd down and 8 for the Jets as Powell shifts into the backfield. Fitzpatrick from the shotgun. In trouble, gets rid of it to Powell. And the Jets will punt it away.
Credit the Redskins. They're doing a nice job with what the Jets are trying to attack them with. It's going to be short passes. They're breaking to the ball, getting some hits on the receivers. There's going to be screen elements and delays in the backfield. They're recognizing those right away, retracing as defensive linemen.
Jamison Crowder back deep for the Redskins. 4 punt return touchdowns during his career at Duke. There is a flag as quickly the punter was run into by Mason Foster.
Mason Foster came clean up the middle, should just be running into.
Which would be 5 yards.
Tell you what, this could be an Academy of performance right here too. Okay, watch this. Little
Running
tap.
into the kicker. Kicking team, receiving team, the penalty is declined. Timeout, TV.
49-yard punt and an Academy Award for Quigley.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by FanDuel, the leader in one-week fantasy football.
First-year head coach Todd Bowles, his Jets defense has already come up with as many interceptions and takeaways over the first 4 games as the entire 2014 season. As Morris takes it up the middle, brought down by David Harrison.
And that's what we talk about when this Jets defense, the great ability with pressure up front and then coverage on the back end. That was going to be Jay Gruden's challenge today with the injuries he had when he put this plan in place. he talked about, obviously, the ball's got to come out quicker. We're going to do some bunch formations. Like to stay a little bit more to tight end when I can with a fullback, because the Jets' defense by personnel won't be as exotic at that point to help us in our protections.
Second down and 7 on the toss. It's Morris. And Morris is tackled just a yard shy of the marker. Nice play by Pryor.
And that will be the issue for the Jets defense. The plan, the way that the Redskins want to attack, puts a lot of pressure on individuals to make good open field tackles. They're going to try and get the ball underneath, away from some of that hard outside coverage, and allow the guys to run. You're going to have to rally up and make sure tackles.
Pryor, the first-round pick last year out of Louisville. Crowder comes in motion. Cousins on 3rd and short, throws, and the catch is made for a first down by Garcon out at the 23-yard line.
Nick. Pierre Garcon has done a nice job this afternoon, and it was one of the questions coming in. How will they play on the outside? Will Darrelle Revis, will he match with Pierre Garcon? Will he follow him all over the field? Or with Deshaun Jackson not being there, will they feel comfortable in playing right and left corners where they don't flop and they don't chase?
Garcon had never faced the Jets in the regular season. He had 2 big days against them in the postseason with the Indianapolis Colts. New set of downs for the Redskins. An attempt from Cousins off the hands of Jamison Crowder.
Again, that's kind of a version of a running play. It's a quick pass to the outside. Your receivers up front are blocking downfield, that timing element. Just an extension of the running game here on the outside, but unable to get the completion to get it started. And when you miss on first down and you're in 2nd and 10, all of a sudden that scale tips right away to this aggressive Jets defense.
Cousins 10 of 15. Thompson in the backfield. Bunch formation to the left. Now Crowder in motion to the right. On the toss, it is Thompson. And Thompson's tackled at the 24-yard line by Demario Davis. Gain of just 1.
We talk front, we talk coverage, but the other thing, I want you to watch the recognition and the flow of this defense. Watch everybody flowing this way. I mean, they immediately recognize what this play is. I mean, everybody is going that way. Linebacker level, secondary stepping up, defensive line working in that direction. Great recognition immediately by that front of the Jets.
3rd down and 9. Redskins must get to the 33 for a first. Cousins with time, can't find anyone. Now he dumps it off. Thompson down back at the 19-yard line. David Harris made the tackle, a loss of 5, and the Redskins will punt it away.
That was a good job by David Harris. If you're going to be in man-to-man coverage on the running back, and he came all the way from the other side of the field, get up and hug him as much as you can in that situation. I mean, he's standing right next to Chris Thompson when that pass is thrown. There's no opportunity for him to run after the catch.
Tressway punting for the 4th time from inside his own 10-yard line. Off the side of his foot. Takes a Redskins roll and is down at the 41-yard line. So a good stand by the Jets defense. Only a 40-yard punt. Good field position for the Jets, who lead by 3.
And we've got to look at both the quarterbacks, show you a very similar situation here. The rings and the wristbands with all the plays on them. So both of these offensive coordinators going with the wristband style of play calling, just in case there's an issue with the communication to and from the sideline, makes that ability to get that play and get it called in the huddle a little bit easier to manage.
Ryan Fitzpatrick steps to the line with his wedding band and his playlist on his wrist. As the Jets start from their 42 on the slant, it is Brandon Marshall. And Marshall picks up a first down, and the ball comes loose. Decker fumbled earlier. So for the second time, we see a Jets wide receiver lose the football. The Redskins have
Ruling on the
recovered.
field to catch fumble, recovered by the defense.
This is a great job by Bashaud Breeland attacking the ball. He's going after it right here. Senses that it's out. And the question is, was Brandon Marshall down? Did his butt hit the ground before that ball was taken away by Bashaud Breeland? Ruled fumble on the field. Looks like it's out before he makes contact with the ground. Aggressive play by Bashaud Breeland.
We will review the previous play.
So again, right now you sense you have the opportunity to get that ball out. Here come your guys in, driving them back. Keenan Robinson. It looks like the ball's out right there if you take a look, and we've got no contact with the ground at that time. I tell you, we talked a little bit about Jay Gruden, what he had to do offensively, and you have to compliment Joe Barry and his guys on the defensive side of the ball with the takeaways if this stands to start the game.
All right, let's check in with Mike Pereira in Los Angeles. Mike, did you think the ball was out first?
Yeah, I do. When you look at this shot right here, you're basically looking at the old butt down play here. What's out first, the ball or the butt down? And to me, it's coming out clearly before the butt hits the ground. Certainly nothing there to reverse it to put him down. So I think it stays with Washington ball here.
I never knew we had a butt down play, Mike.
Well, the Jets did have a butt
After
fumble.
reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Fumble recovered by Washington.
Jets had the butt fumble a couple of years ago with Mark Sanchez. Thanks, Mike. I think Mike used the term 3 times there.
I think we had butt down quite a bit.
And for Bashaud Breeland, his second recovery of the first half. So both Jets starting wideouts, Eric Decker and Brandon Marshall, coughed the ball up. And the Redskins took advantage following the Decker fumble, scoring the game's first touchdown. From the 45, it's Morris. He spins and then is wrapped up for a loss.
Wow. I mean, and that's tough. When your running back is forced to make his decision 2.5, 3 yards deep in the backfield, that is not going to be a successful run play. That was great penetration by the Jets, and you can see right now only 15 rushing yards for the Washington Redskins, and this is a huge part of their offense. You know, for them to have success, especially today with everybody that's out of the lineup, you're not going to be able to drop back and throw the ball a ton when you've got all those new bodies on the left side of your offensive line in protection.
Second down at 11, high snap. Cousins throws, and it's the tight end Carrier. Wrestled out of bounds by Pryor at midfield as we check in once again with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
And once again, it's the Cincinnati Bengals getting into the end zone. Gio Bernard takes the handoff, and he's gone. 17-yard score breaks a 7-all tie with the Bills midway through the second quarter. Kenny Moose and Holly.
All right, thanks very much, Kurt. Third down and 6 for the Redskins following the second Jets turnover of the day. Redskins must get to the 45-yard line. And they do. It's a first down for Jamison Crowder at the Jets' 41, knocked out of bounds by Buster Screen.
Yeah, and this is another one of those areas, a part of the plan. Stacked releases, try and confuse the coverage right here. Jamison Crowder coming off the back. You may think he's going inside. You think you're going to get that inside move, but he breaks quickly to the outside. So both routes in that stack release going to the outside gives him that extra step on Buster Screen.
Crowder's second catch today. New set of downs for the Redskins from the Jets' 41. A handoff to Morris. And Morris able to work his way down to the 36-yard line for a gain of 5 on first down.
And that's one of the things I think that Alfred Morris brings in the running game. Sometimes it doesn't look great. There's not a lot there, but all of a sudden you look up and you're in a favorable second down position based on yards. So, yeah, nothing real pretty right there in that run, but some good positive yards on first down.
Chris Thompson in the game replacing Morris on second down and 5.
Got that same stack down here. See if they do something out of it.
Cousins looking that way. Now Crowder looking to throw. Jamison Crowder gets rid of it, throws it out of bounds.
A good job by the Jets defense, recognizing at the beginning of that play, you kind of see that Jamison Crowder's going back a little bit deeper than he would on a quick screen pass to the outside. So some good reactions by that defense to check down the field, get those deep routes covered, and then a heady play right there by Jamison Crowder. You're afforded the same luxury as the quarterback. Get outside the pocket, throw it out of bounds.
Redskins now facing a 3rd down and 5. Play clock is at 2. Cousins over the middle, incomplete. He was looking for Crowder. So Washington will send out Hopkins and the field goal unit.
Little bit behind right there. Those crossing routes, the short passes for Kirk Cousins, accuracy will be a premium in those situations. You have to allow routes that need to be completed on the move to be able to be right on the spot so your receiver can catch and run.
A 54-yard attempt. Hopkins spent training camp with the Saints. His season long is 52 from the right hash. Hopkins' kick from 54 yards away is straight through. So all 10 of the Redskin points have followed the 2 Jets turnovers.
Well, that was an area last week against Atlanta where they weren't very good, and it cost them at the end of that game. Much better today. And the first play of the game, the ball's jarred loose. Bashaud Breeland with the recovery there. And, you know, to start that drive, this is just a great heady play by Bashaud Breeland. Senses the opportunity to take that ball away from Brandon Marshall, just pulls it right out of his grasp.
Redskins scoring 10 points off the 2 turnovers. So Breeland starting for the injured D'Angelo Hall, coming up with both. And the Redskins have tied the game at 10 on the 54-yard field goal. Jets coming off their bye. They were just 1-5 following the bye under Rex Ryan, looking to turn things around under former Washington Redskins safety Todd Bowles, who won a Super Bowl with the Redskins, Super Bowl 22 back in January of 1988.
When we played with the Cowboys, our coach Jimmy Johnson was not worried about the game going into the bye. He was worried about that game coming out of the bye. Sometimes you're just a little bit lethargic, kind of knock that rust off. And believe it or not, there is some rust that accumulates just with a few days off. So his biggest concern, you know, was coming out of the bye.
Plus, the Jets traveled back from London leading into the bye week.
Okay, we talked about it at the top. You know, this is a team that you know, the Jets fan base very excited about the start. You know, they're getting some good notoriety around the league. And you know, how are they going to take care of business today? They've got that big game next week, division rival New England Patriots, and you've got a team that's coming in here today with a lot of starters out. Are you going to be able to come out here, put that away, and just take care of business?
Here's Ivory on first down. Gain of 4. Washington missing 6 starters, 4 on the offensive side, and their 2 cornerbacks. As the clock winds down, and we hit the 2-minute warning here at MetLife Stadium with the Jets and the Redskins tied at 10. Get apps, videos, and more at iTunes.com/NFL. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Holly Saunders from MetLife Stadium. Following the 2-minute warning with the Jets and Redskins tied at 10. Second down and 6. Fitzpatrick throws. What a catch by Brandon Marshall for a Jets first down.
Holy cow. He's just going to stick a hand out. He one-hands this. That is. Whew.
Well, Odell Beckham Jr. made his amazing catch last season in this very same stadium. Another first down for the Jets as Zach Stacy takes it out close to midfield. Gain of 12 for Stacy following the 14-yard reception by Marshall. Jets have all three of their timeouts from the 49-yard line. Fitzpatrick complete into Redskins territory to Anunwa. Gain of 7, second down and 3. And now
we will review the previous play.
Pete Morelli will take a look at that reception by Anunwa.
One of the things that the Redskins talked about, and here's a great example in this situation here, on third down in 2-minute situations, one of the things that Chan Gailey likes to do, he likes to go 4 wide receiver, which is something that, back, years ago was something very common. It's not as much with the evolution of the tight end position. A lot of times it's 3 wides, 1 tight end, 3 wides, 2 tight ends. You've got the running back to mix in with that personnel group. This is going to be 4 wide receivers out there in this situation, so, you've got to match up kind of in a different way.
The booth review under 2 minutes. Taking a look at the last play, which was ruled a reception by Quincy Anunwa. What do you think?
Well, it's called catch on the field, and what Mike Pereira has been saying. If you don't have that definitive proof, what's happened a lot this year, you stay with what the call has been on the field, and so far for me, let's take this one. Looks like he gets the hand underneath and keeps it from touching the ground.
Here comes Pete Morelli.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. It's a catch, second down.
So the ball spotted at the 44, second down and 3 for Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Jets. Fitzpatrick 10 of 12. He's hit 6 different receivers. Steps up, throws, and that pass broken up. It was intended for Anunwa. Sean Colson on the coverage.
Coming out of the inside of the trips formation right there, just going to run a little curl right over the top. Looks like he started to turn and run before he had it secured, Kenny.
So it will be third down and 3. 47 seconds remaining in the half. Empty backfield. Stacy split wide to the right. Patrick on 3rd and 3. Looking for Marshall, and it's picked off by Breland. What a catch! Bashaud Breland, who already has 2 fumble recoveries today, comes up with the interception for the Redskins.
Well, this is a decision by Ryan Fitzpatrick just to put it out there with a big guy in coverage. I think that you'll see Brandon Marshall covered well. He's going to come out, kind of get up this way as Zach Stacy comes underneath. So they cover the underneath very well. So we're going to go to Brandon Marshall down the field. He's covered well. He makes a tremendous effort to keep the ball from being intercepted, and then watch the effort by Bashaud Breland to actually finish the interception. That's just 2 guys competing. And unfortunately for the Jets, Bashaud Breland comes out, and Fitzpatrick coming in, you come in to engage, you can be blocked. If you are retreating and not being a part of that tackle, the team that intercepted the ball is not allowed to block you. But if you're going to get in there and pursue, your rules are forfeited as a quarterback. You can be hit and hit hard.
Second pick of the season. Breland had one in Atlanta last week. What a first half for Breland. And now Cousins' pass is caught just across midfield, and the Redskins will use a timeout with 29 seconds remaining. And we will head to Los Angeles. Kurt.
Our entire team is getting you ready for the Visa halftime. When we come back, the Broncos defense lighted up in Cleveland. The Bills try to hand the Bengals their first loss, and the Chiefs have to make up for the loss of Jamal Charles. We'll break it all down for you with highlights as we move closer to the Visa halftime.
All right, Kurt, we look forward to it. 29 seconds remaining. Redskins have 2 timeouts. They've already scored 10 points off the first 2 Jets turnovers, a touchdown and a field goal. Second down and 6. Cousins with time. He throws, and the catch is made for a first down at the Jets' 36 by Garcon, and the Redskins will use their second timeout. So the Redskins on the move. Tomorrow night, game 3 of the ALCS. The scene shifts to Toronto, and what an atmosphere it should be as the Blue Jays look to come back after losing 2 on the road. Coverage begins tomorrow, only on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. The Kansas City Royals, who went to the World Series last year, have taken a 2-0 lead. Veteran Kendrys Morales with 3 home runs in the postseason, and center fielder for the Blue Jays, Kevin Pillar, doing it at the plate and in the field. Cousins on first down. To the near side, it's Grant. Ryan Grant makes the catch. Out of bounds at the Jets' 20. We've seen some spectacular plays over these last couple of minutes by the Redskins.
And some great protection, too. I mean, to be able to throw this route, you've got to be able to hold up in protection, double move, breaking back to the outside. It's a great throw by Kirk Cousins right there with a little bit of coverage underneath by Calvin Pryor. And let's credit this offensive line. We talked about the injuries at the top, what's going on with the offensive line up front on that left side, and they have really held up well so far.
And now a Jet injury. Buster Skrine will head to the sidelines. Skrine has done a terrific job for the Jets this season. Spent the last 4 years in Cleveland, and he's been a big part of this Jets defense.
He really has. One of the first guys that Todd Bowles wanted to go out and secure as he started to build this roster. He targeted Buster Skrine, wanted to make sure he could shore up that secondary that struggled last year, and then able to add Darrelle Revis and Antonio Cromartie right at the top. See, as he kind of planted, went to change direction, had a little slip.
Jets charged with a timeout due to the injury. Cousins through the corner of the end zone. Down to 10 seconds.
Now you talk about toughness in the pocket. It's one of the things that coaches look for in their quarterbacks. Watch this, everything's going to kind of collapse. Kirk Cousins knows he's going to get hit right here. He hangs in there. Nice effort by Darrelle Revis.
Down to 10 seconds. Second down and 10. Redskins have 1 timeout. This is Thompson. And he takes it down to the 12, and now the Redskins will use that timeout and send out the field goal unit. So Washington has taken advantage of 2 Jets turnovers, now looking to score following the 3rd Jet miscue.
Well, we talked about the plan that Jay Gruden had at the top, and a lot of that has to do with what you're going to do offensively, how you're going to attack this Jets defense. The ball's got to come out quickly. We need to be able to run the ball well. Some of those things haven't panned out, but something you can't count on is your defense's ability to take the ball away. And I tell you, this Redskins defense has done a great job here in the first half. They've cashed in this week as opposed to last week against Atlanta. So The other thing we talked about at the top, the Jets, here they are. Everybody's excited about this big game against the Patriots next week. Can they stay focused and take care of business here against a team who's got a lot of starters out? And I did not expect 10-10 here with 5 seconds left in the first half.
Now, are you surprised the Redskins did not take one more shot at the end zone? They conceded the field goal with time for 2 plays.
I say 6 seconds. That's right about there. If anything bad happens, you could get to the point where that play runs out and you don't get this field goal attempt.
But I mean, on the previous play, they had 10 seconds.
At that point,
yeah, they decided to run. They set up the field goal and
hoping to catch somebody, right? You're hoping to catch somebody in a situation where Chris Thompson's actually going to break a tackle and score, because the Jets are thinking the same way we are. They've been aggressive down the field here at this point. Surely they'll continue to do that. You slip Chris Thompson through there hoping to catch the Jets nap in there. They almost did as a nice run right there, but now you've got to the point where it's just the 5 seconds, and now you've kind of forced yourself into that position where you have to kick.
So the Redskins have scored all 13 of their points thanks to 3 takeaways. Bashaud Breeland recovers 2 fumbles, one by Decker and the other Brandon Marshall.
But this last one, the interception that started this last drive is just a tremendous play. It's great effort by Brandon Marshall to try and keep the ball from being intercepted, and then a tremendous effort by Bashaud Breeland to make that interception.
So Breeland, the 4th round pick prior to last season by the Redskins, with a huge first half. And the Redskins offense has scored 13 points off those 3 Jets turnovers, and they lead by 3. By the way, no accepted penalties in the first half. There were flags thrown, but none of the penalties accepted. The last first half, or any half, without an accepted penalty, Cowboys and Redskins back in December of 2012.
It's a nice flow. It's a really nice flow to the game. Been a couple this season with a lot of flags hard.
All got it is Trevor Riley of the Jets as the first half comes to an end. 3 Jets turnovers leading to all 13 Redskins points. Washington with a 3-point lead at the half, as we send you to Los Angeles for the Visa halftime report. Redskins with a 13-10 lead over the Jets as we get set for the 3rd quarter. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. Jets first play from scrimmage, Decker strip, Redskins score. And then Eric Decker with a 35-yard reception leading to the Jets touchdown. So turnovers the story for the Jets. For the Redskins, Darryl, 6 starters out with injury. Not only do they hang in there over the first half of this game, but they have the lead.
They've been playing well, and credit Jay Gruden putting together that plan. Then the defense doing some things you can't anticipate during the course of your preparation. But for the New York Jets, all 3 turnovers have occurred in the passing game. Where's Chris Ivory? If he is your identity, if all these guys on the Jets are excited about his style of running, he only has 10 carries so far. He's got 71 yards, got a 54-yard big play in the first half for the Jets. Let's get Chris Ivory more involved in this game.
Jets deferred after winning the opening coin toss, so the Redskins will kick off. Jets get the ball first. Here in the second half on the run, and Zach Stacy takes it out across the 25. Stacy finally brought down at the 32-yard line. So good field position for the Jets. 25-yard return as Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Jets offense comes out onto the field to begin the second half. Fitzpatrick 10 of 14. Of course, 2 of those completions turned into turnovers.
Absolutely. All 3 turnovers have come in the passing game. Maybe the decision to go to Brandon Marshall in that situation down the field, Bashaud Breeland in great position with coverage. Again, just a great play on both guys' parts. Bashaud Breeland comes away with the interception, but yeah, all those turnovers were in the passing department in the first half.
On first down, here's Ivory. Darryl, you mentioned only 10 carries in the first half, and Ivory takes it out to the 36-yard line for a gain of 4. Jets were a +6 coming into the game today. Committed only 7 turnovers their first 4 games, 3 in the first half.
Hey, right back 2.
Yet they trail by just 3, all 13 Redskin points coming off those 3 turnovers. Second down and 6. Patrick dumping it off to Ivory. And Ivory has a first down, stays on his feet, and he is finally tackled at the Redskins' 40-yard line by Kyshawn Jarrett, a gain of 24.
Just have that confidence that you can check the ball down. You hear people talk about, you know, the short passing game being an extension of the run game. It's just a little check down by Chris Ivory right there. He's a yard and a half beyond the line of scrimmage. But it's what he can do after the catch. If you've got everybody spread out in coverage, you need to take advantage of those underneath throws.
Cumberland shifting, 1st and 10 from the Washington 40. Another Jets first down. A couple of minutes ago, you said the Jets need to get it into the hands of Ivory more often, and that is the route they have gone here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, and this is supposed to be going to the left. This is supposed to be going this way, but keep your eyes on your quarterback. Watch what he does. There's that long trap. Okay, I'm going to bounce it out here. Just enough of Keenan Robinson to allow Chris Ivory to get around the corner.
So 3 plays here in the second half. 2 Ivory runs and 1 reception by Ivory. 1st and 10 from the 29 on the toss. It's Ivory. This time, not much. Gains a yard. 2nd down and 9.
That's kind of playing to his strength. You know, he can get to the edges. He can do some things on the outside, but really getting your shoulder square coming downhill, and you get that little toss to try and get that defense to flow. But really, it's going to come back in and be run in between the tackles.
So 4 plays, 4 touches for Ivory on this drive. Cumberland shifting. 2nd and 9 from the 28. Off the fake to Ivory. Pass to the outside is caught by Marshall. Breland all over him. Marshall tackled at the 20-yard line. It will be 3rd down and 1.
Working on the outside. This has been a good matchup all day long. Very impressed with Bashard Breland today. Obviously, his ability and his kind of ball hawking skills with these turnovers, but we've seen him as a physical tackler on a couple of occasions as well.
On 3rd and 1, it is Ivory, and he is bottled up. With pot roast, Terrence Knighton leading the charge.
Going to be coming right into the middle of the field. As you pointed out, Terrence Knighton does a great job right there, taking on 2 offensive linemen and just clogging up the whole interior of that line of scrimmage.
So the Jets send out the field goal unit. Nick Folk hit from 35 earlier. This will be a 39-yard attempt from the left hash. Folk 7 for 9 on the season. Makes it 8 for 10 as the Jets tie the game at 13 on the opening drive of the second half.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency. Low fares, nothing to hide. By Burger King. Kick off fall with a new Oreo Pumpkin Spice Shake. By Visa Checkout. The easier way to pay online. Sign up now. And by AT&T. DirecTV and AT&T are now one, bringing television and wireless together.
Can never go wrong with a Joe Namath jersey here.
No, and we've been looking around the stadium inside, seeing a couple of Broadway Joe's jerseys.
Well, the Jets drive 47 yards.
But I think they're going to be a little bit frustrated. I mean, it's 3rd and 1, and we talked about this offensive line and Chris Ivory. You've got to convert there and get 7 points.
Instead, they come away with 3, tie the game at 13. Rashad Ross out to the 21. Lattimore the tackle. Redskins back on offense in a tie game. Back at MetLife Stadium, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Holly Saunders. Redskins have never lost to the Jets on the road, a perfect 4-0 record. This game tied at 13. Redskins start from the 21-yard line. This is Morris. As we check in downstairs with Holly.
Kenny had a chance to talk with head coach Todd Bowles on his way into the locker room, and he mentioned to me, of course, I'm going to give you all the correct answers about turnovers. We're making too many of them, but it was the intensity with which he spoke to let me know he means business. Those Jets players got a piece of his mind in that locker room, and it looks like the message was received based on that crisp first drive coming out here in the third quarter. And as for Jay Gruden, a simple message to his team: we need to get more yards rushing the ball, period, guys.
All right, thanks very much, Holly. Redskins only 30 yards on the ground. Cousins' pass is picked off by Revis. So after the Jets turned it over 3 times in the first half, Darrelle Revis comes up with the interception, his 3rd on the season.
Bad decision by Kirk Cousins. You cannot go late back to Darrelle Revis. He's too savvy. He's going to bait you. Over here, if you look out there in the beginning and it's not covered, then don't go there. Just stay away. He thinks he's going to get Ryan Grant underneath. He had passed Pierre Garçon to the inside.
So the Jets, with their 7th interception of the season, one more than they had the entire season in 2014.
Unbelievable, the change in production they've got, an area that Todd Bowles knew he had to address immediately when he got hired.
So Cousins intercepted for the 7th time this season. As Revis comes up with the pick, and the Jets start from the Redskins' 18-yard line. Fitzpatrick under pressure on first down. He takes off. He's inside the 10 to the end zone. He's in. Touchdown.
That's why I don't slide. We saw him take a pretty big hit in the first half when he was trying to extend a run. Well, I tell you what, the Redskins knew this. The Redskins defense talked about his athleticism. They felt he was underrated as a runner. They saw that in the game in London versus Miami. Now let's see what happens coverage-wise. You're down inside that red zone. You're playing man-to-man. So you don't have your eyes on the quarterback. He recognizes that right away. And a nice little wiggle there when he got down inside the 5 to get the touchdown. But that's just a smart, heady play by a savvy vet recognizing that man-to-man coverage.
An 18-yard touchdown run by Fitzpatrick. Folk, the extra point. Cousins throws the pick. He says it's on me. Darrelle Revis with the interception. And then on the next play, Fitzpatrick into the end zone. Jets by 7.
Today's game is sponsored by Chevrolet. Use hashtag #HiDrive4 and we'll contribute $5 to fight breast cancer.
12th career rushing touchdown for Ryan Fitzpatrick from 18 yards out to give the Jets the lead.
And a really good decision by Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know, very decisive, seeing the opening with the man-to-man coverage. You know, foregoing everybody else's recommendations about sliding, he's going to get it into the end zone.
Deshaun Ross on the return. Out to the 22.
You want to see some wild eyes right here. This is a guy who is pumped and determined. Watch his eyes as Brandon Marshall comes up to congratulate him. That's awesome.
The 6th to last pick in the draft. 250th overall by the St. Louis Rams back in 2005. He was the 14th and last quarterback selected.
And he just keeps finding a way to extend his career in the NFL. Great story.
Out of Harvard, making his 94th NFL start. Now the Redskins back to work as Cousins fires downfield. Pass intended for Ross.
Good coverage by Antonio Cromartie. Now, here's the great decision by the Redskins right here. Pack everything in. You're going to max protect. This is just a 2-man route. make sure that Kirk Cousins is protected in the pocket, takes a bump there at the end, but if you're going to stretch it this far, you've got to make sure your quarterback is going to be clean.
Now 2nd and 10 after the Jets scored 10 points in a span of 58 seconds to take the lead. On the toss, it's Thompson. Thompson out to the 28-yard line as we check in with Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Well, it's not so much the catch, but the run after the catch, or maybe you should say Marvin Jones's flip after the catch. Got the ball across the plane to the goal line. Good for a touchdown. 24-14. Bengals on top of Buffalo. Kenny Lewis and Holly.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Bengals perfect at 5-0. And that score certainly good news for the Jets, with the Bills just behind them in the AFC East standings at 3-2. Third down and 5. Redskins must get to the 33 for a first down, and they will not, as Cromartie comes up to make the play on Andre Roberts.
Shows you the versatility of Antonio Cromartie in that series, the big play down the field in the vertical game. Watch the timing right here, the recognition, break on the ball, great timing. He's there right as the ball arrives.
Way punting from inside his 20. Burley backpedals. Takes it up to 19. Burley spins out to the 24. 5 yards on the return. Teron Johnson made the tackle, a 53-yard punt.
There's Ryan Fitzpatrick's numbers for this afternoon. One interception, just a great play on the outside by Bashaud Breeland. And one of the guys who just kind of found his way bouncing around the league. You talked about him graduating from Harvard. St. Louis Rams drafted him late in that draft. Mike Martz had an opportunity to visit with him because Ryan Fitzpatrick said so many nice things there. And you see all the different teams he's been with through that career. Had a great run in Buffalo with current offensive coordinator Chan Gailey. Came here in the trade from the Houston Texans.
Patrick throws on first down. It's caught by Ivory.
Well, I don't think this was part of the tackling plan that they had for Chris Ivory here, because it's really a situation where it's a battle of leverage, and
Harry Rocket Jr. goes
up and over the top. He almost stuck the landing on that one.
All that work by Ivory, a gain of just 3. Second down and 7. Jets have already scored 10 points in this quarter. Fitzpatrick on second down, under pressure, and he throws it away. We talked about Fitzpatrick breaking in as a St. Louis Ram. As we take one more look, early in his career, he proposes to his wife at a McDonald's in St. Louis. 5 children, 6 teams later, still going strong here in New York.
But he said it was a very, very upscale McDonald's with a very nice gas station next door. He's out running errands. It's spontaneous, Kenny.
And she said yes. Third down and 7. Patrick calls timeout with the play clock winding down. Well, Colin Cowherd is the most unique voice in sports. You can see him every weekday only on FS1. On Monday, Colin will be talking about all the big stories from college football and the baseball playoffs. He'll be joined by Howie Long and Champ Bailey to talk about the NFL. The Herd with Colin Cowherd, weekdays at noon Eastern only on FS1.
I think the funny thing, having him say so many nice things about Mike Martz, I reached out to Mike Martz. I spoke with him last night and asked him about Ryan Fitzpatrick, and he went in, he goes, I felt at one point that he didn't have the confidence in himself that we had in him. So I brought him in. I said, listen, your intelligence, your competitiveness. The one thing that Mike talked about a lot was his competitiveness. He goes, it's going to keep you in the league for a long time. And I said, you know, he said that. He felt that you always had more confidence in him than he had in himself.
There's Fitzpatrick on 3rd and 7. And out across the 40, it is Brandon Marshall who picks up a Jets first down, a gain of 14.
And one of the things that I've always, when I have an opportunity to talk to Mike Martz, I think he evaluates quarterbacks a little bit differently than most people, and that competitiveness in that quarterback, in his personality, is one of the things that he is always looking for. And he said he recognized it right away with Ryan Fitzpatrick when he came into camp.
Wound up coming into a game in relief through an overtime touchdown pass, and they made his first start against the Redskins. Here is it's Zach Stacy, and he takes it into Redskins territory to the Washington 40-yard line. 19 yards for Stacy.
Yeah, he did look a lot like Chris Ivory on that run. I mean, got downhill right away. Again, it's got the look of a toss, so you're thinking outside, but it's really kind of coming straight up the middle. You could see just the patient steps of Zach Stacy after he caught that pitch.
Stacy remains in the backfield. Cumberland shifting from the 41. Again, it is Stacy. Good second effort. And Stacy takes it down to the Redskins' 35-yard line.
They got a lot of tough runners in the backfield for the Jets. And we talk about Chris Ivory. We're watching now Zach Stacy, Bilal Powell, very similar. Watch this. I mean, it's coming across. There's a shot right there. And he just bounces right off that.
And Powell suffered an ankle injury in the first half, so Stacy remains in. 5th-round pick by the Rams 2 years ago. Fitzpatrick on 2nd and 4. And Marshall made the adjustment and takes it into the end zone for a Jets touchdown.
That's just a great play by Brandon Marshall right there. It's a poorly underthrown ball, and he recognizes it right away. This time, Bashaud Breeland doesn't have the opportunity to come back with him and make the play. But watch how athletic this is. Great job with the jam right there. The ball's going to be underthrown. Look at that. Stops, reaches back, then breaks the tackles and in for the touchdown. Wow.
What an adjustment. What a catch with his fingertips. Fends off Breeland and takes it all the way 35 yards. Folk, the extra point. Jets score 17 points in just over 5 minutes. Fitzpatrick celebrates. Jets by 14. Jets extend to a 2-touchdown lead, a 6-play, 76-yard drive.
And just watching Brandon Marshall after that touchdown on the sideline, he was leading the kickoff coverage unit, getting them ready for their opportunity to go out on the field to make a play. I mean, they have just stolen all the momentum that Washington was able to generate in that first half, being able to take the ball away, their offense being opportunistic to get them their points, and the Jets came out here in the second half, and it has just been a completely different game.
17 third-quarter points for the New York Jets. Fitzpatrick to Marshall. Jake Gruden's Redskins had a 3-point lead at the half. What a turnaround here in the third quarter.
And what are you going to do right now? I mean, you had a plan coming in. Your defense really helped you out in the first half. Your offense was allowed to be opportunistic. That's not going to be the case here early in the second half. This offense has got to put together a drive in this series right now.
On first down, Cousins throws, and the catch is made. Nice effort to bring it in. Out to the 29-yard line, it's Carrier for a gain of 9. Redskins scoring 3 times following Jet turnovers, but on their 6 other drives, Not much, 5 punts and a pick.
And that has not been the case for them this season. They've been able to do those 5-minute drives, those 10-play drives. They've been able to drive the length of the field.
On 2nd and 1. Damon Harrison again, the first Jet in on the tackle as Morris did not get back to the line of scrimmage.
And they've got to get that fixed right there. 35 rushing yards. They talked about doing a little bit more man blocking where you're pulling guys, pulling your guard, pulling your tackles. The zone blocking up front is not working right now.
Cousins on 3rd and 1. Dives forward. And looks to have a Redskins first down.
That may be a very important play as we get into the 4th quarter right here. Just that little scramble on this 3rd and short by Kirk Cousins to give them a new set of downs. Nothing's open. He's able to find his way up through the pocket as he climbs and get enough for the first down.
As opposed to Fitzpatrick, Cousins coming into the game had only 1 rushing yard all season. Cousins hit as he throws. On more pressure up the middle.
And they had an opportunity. They're running a double move with the tight end, Anthony McCoy, number 85, releasing from that tight end spot. That's the route that they're going to go to, but they're unable to get there because of the pressure on the quarterback.
Muhammad Wilkerson with Copels with the pressure as Wilkerson made contact with the right shoulder of Cousins. 2nd and 10. Crowder. Nothing. Under 4 minutes to go in the quarter. Time for a game break. Here's Curtin.
Well, of course, Pittsburgh had Michael Vick replacing the injured Ben Roethlisberger. Vick left the game with an injured hamstring, so Landry Jones now in at quarterback. His 2nd NFL pass, his 1st NFL touchdown from Martavis Bryant. They missed the 2-point conversion. It's 12-10, though. Pittsburgh leading Arizona. Kenny Moose and Holly.
All right, thanks, Kurt. So Landry Jones, 3rd-string quarterback in the game for the Steelers.
That Steelers D must be playing a heck of a game to have Arizona at 10 points right now.
3rd down and 10. Cousins fires downfield, and it is picked off. The 2nd interception of the half for the Jets, Marcus Gilchrist, with his 2nd of the season.
And this is just another ill-advised throw by Kirk Cousins. There's 2 guys back in coverage. It's 3rd and 10. They're not going to let you get behind them. You've got the bunch coming off the left side, so you've got some vertical routes going down the field, but you know, I think the safest throw is to Andre Roberts, number 12, who's on that little pivot route. See if he can work that underneath the man-to-man. This is covered like a blanket down the field.
Well, Gilchrist comes up with the interception. Jets turned it over 3 times in the first half. Redskins twice here in the 3rd quarter. Ivory cuts to the outside. Chris Ivory across midfield. And he's ruled out of bounds at the 41-yard line of the Redskins.
Everybody talks about his running style being violent, powerful, breaking tackles. I tell you, he's got a 2nd gear too. And he's getting to the edge. It's going up the middle, the bounce, the vision. Again, when he makes the decision to get to that next gear, he's got some pull-away ability.
He gains 32. And he is over 100 for the day. 118 on the ground for Ivory, replaced by Stacy. Fitzpatrick on first down, shovel pass. And upended at the 39 after a gain of 2 is Zach Stacy, and he's slow to get up.
Deshaun Golson, number 38, playing that safety position. Very physical. And here's another big hit. He's had a couple during the course of the game today. This is going to be dropped down, and he sees it. He's coming up right away, and there's just a big collision right there. He gets Zach Stacy in the thigh, going through the legs. And unfortunately, he takes it right on the head.
Ivory back in. 2nd and 7. Ivory. Up the middle, inside. The Redskins 35 to the 34-yard line. 2 minutes to go, third quarter. Jets have outscored the Redskins in this quarter 17-0. For the season, they've outscored their opponents in the third quarter 34-0, and the Jets approaching 400 yards for the day.
But the plays are the same almost, and you see the difference in the yardage.
Higher possession close as well. 3rd down and 3. Decker, first down for the Washington 23-yard line.
And this is what I expected to see at the start of the game. It's just taken the Jets offense virtually the entire first half to get here in the second half to really start to hit their stride. Now everybody's kind of pitching in. You know, Chris Ivory has really opened things up with the running game. Now we're seeing Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker. You know, Zach Sacey's jumped in and as a fill-in for Chris Ivory and ran the ball well.
Fitzpatrick now 17 of 22. Here's Ivory. Stutter step. Did not get back to the line of scrimmage. Brandon Marshall with the Jets' last touchdown. Did you see how he spent the bye week? Jets came home from London. Marshall last weekend ran in the Brooklyn Rock and Roll Half Marathon.
You did the full though, right?
I did.
Yeah. So you only did the half.
Triathlon. A half marathon during the bye week.
Yeah, I'm gonna run 13.1 on my week off.
2nd and 10. Decker could not hang on.
Boy, he's been all or nothing this afternoon. That's a great adjustment with your launch angle. You're kind of dropping it down on the side to get it through the defensive line. You hit Eric Decker right in stride. He's got an opportunity to break those tackles right there. Trenton Robinson's coming in, but that has the potential for catch and run after.
3rd down and 10. Fitzpatrick fires. It's Marshall. First down for the Jets at the Redskins 6. As the third quarter comes to an end. Half marathon last weekend. Some terrific plays today. Brandon Marshall over 100 yards receiving for the 4th consecutive game as we head to the 4th. 17-point third quarter for the Jets. And they are looking for more as we start the 4th. 1st and goal from the Redskins 6. Marshall split wide to the left, Decker to the right. Jets keep it on the ground with Ivory. And Ivory is down to the Washington 2-yard line.
I tell you, it's a big advantage when you've got a guy like Chris Ivory when you get into the red zone. It becomes such a defensive advantage because the field shortens so much, actually becomes wider than it is long once you get around that 17-yard line. To have a guy inside that can run the ball effectively in the red zone, huge plus for an offense.
On 2nd and goal, Fitzpatrick, end zone, touchdown, Eric Decker. There is a flag.
Defense, number 34, lined up in the neutral zone. The penalty will be declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
Yeah, but even worse news for the Redskins right now. Ryan Kerrigan slow coming off, holding his hip. Eric Decker working out of the slot. Good throw, because you're going to see that there's a little bit of pressure coming on Ryan Fitzpatrick as he throws that ball. There's Ryan Kerrigan. He was slow getting up, and he's been slow getting back to the sideline.
Jets have scored on their last 4 possessions. a field goal, and 3 touchdowns. Jets trailed by 3 at the half. They now lead by 21. 5th straight game with a touchdown for Decker.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Lowe's. Hurry in this week for great fall savings. By Charles Schwab, own your tomorrow. And by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL.
Super Bowl 22, January 88. The Redskins score 35 points in the second quarter. There's Todd Bowles. Redskins defense with 3 interceptions in the game. Bowles started at free safety for Washington, and his close friend Doug Williams, 4 touchdown passes in the second quarter, was named the most valuable player of Super Bowl 22.
Yeah, and early on in their careers at Washington, they competed against each other. Doug Williams wasn't the starter at that time, so he was going up against Todd Bowles at practice. He recognized right away how smart he was getting everybody lined up. So in the back of his mind, he always knew if he had an opportunity to become a coach, Todd Bowles would be one of the first people he called.
Ross on the return for the Redskins. Out to the 23-yard line. And for more on the relationship between Jets head coach Todd Bowles and Redskins executive Doug Williams, down to Holly.
Yes, Kenny, just adding on to what you guys were saying, it goes a little bit deeper than that even. If not for his teammate Doug Williams, Todd Bowles might not be the Jets head coach today. Yes, back in 1997, Williams and the head coach of Morehouse College convinced Bowles to be his defensive coordinator. Bowles had no coaching experience, had never considered coaching, but took the opportunity. And Williams said, hey, coaching is all about people. Todd has tremendous people skills. That's why I wanted to hire him. He has one of the coolest demeanors of anybody you'd want to be around. So spoke very highly of him, a relationship that has lasted through the years.
Thanks, Holly. And from Morehouse, it was on to Grambling. Todd Bowles going with Doug Williams. They even lived together in a townhouse in Atlanta at one point when they coached together.
Yeah, it's a really unique relationship. And I think the big thing, for me to really be able to sell that is he said, his demeanor reminds him of Joe Gibbs. It's always the same. If things are going great, if things are going tough, Joe Gibbs was always the same. And he said that's exactly how Todd Bowles is. And we've heard that from a number of his players that he's on this Jets roster.
2nd and 10. Cousins throws too far for Jamison Crowder. And Doug Williams told us yesterday in Super Bowl 22, our defense had 3 interceptions. Todd didn't have any of them, but he was responsible for getting everybody in place.
Yeah, has always said that. He was so smart. You hear about people referred to as the quarterback of the defense. Doug noticed that right away about Todd at practice.
3 current NFL head coaches won Super Bowls as a player. Ron Rivera, Jason Garrett, Todd Bowles. 3rd down and 10. Redskins must get to the 34. And they will not, as Cousins' pass could not be handled by Rashawn Ross.
You just got to step up and make a play. Somebody's got to make a play here for the Washington Redskins. The offensive line did a nice job with protection. They gave Kirk Cousins the opportunity to stand in the pocket and throw. He gives it right. It's right there. You've done everything right. Now Rashad Ross has to make that catch. That's a big first down.
Cousins just 2 for his last 11 with 2 picks, so as many receptions by the Redskins over those last 11 as by the Jets on Cousins' throws. Here's Curley. Jeremy Curley takes it all the way out, close to midfield. 50-yard punt, 20 on the return. What a second half it has been for the New York Jets. NFC East up for grabs. Cowboys off this weekend. Giants at the Eagles tomorrow night.
Completely up for grabs. Wide open. Injuries with the Redskins. Injuries with the Cowboys. Philadelphia off to a sluggish start. The Giants, the team that really seems to have kind of righted the ship and poised to take control of the NFC East. Big game tomorrow night. The Giants versus the Eagles to maybe get some settling in how this division is going to start to pan out here as we get near the halfway mark.
Jets start from their 49 as Fitzpatrick hands it off to Ivory. And Ivory Ivory is wrestled down after crossing the 50 into Redskins territory by Keenan Robinson. Giants have won their last 3 after the 0-2 start. Cowboys have lost 3 in a row. They'll take on the Giants here next weekend. Redskins, of course, at 2-3 heading into this game today. And the Eagles coming off a 519-yard performance against the Saints. Second down and 8. On the toss, it's Ivory. Breaks through, has a first down and more. And is finally pushed out of bounds at the Redskins 31. Time for another game break. Kurt.
All right, Gary Barnidge had 3 touchdown catches in his first 7 seasons. He's now scored 4 consecutive weeks for Cleveland, and they just also got a pick 6 of Peyton Manning. Cleveland leads at 20-16 in the 4th quarter. Kenny, Moose, and Holly.
All right, thanks, Kurt. So the Browns have taken the lead on the Broncos. First and 10 from the 31. On the toss, it's Stacy. End of a yard. Jets over 450 yards today. Just over 200 on the ground for the second straight game. They rushed for 207 against Miami.
Yeah, and this is where, when you talk about situational football, this is where the Jets are going to be tough as the season wears on. And Chan Gailey, he's going to stick to the run. We talked about it, committed, stubborn, however you want. He'll slide that way. But it's huge in situations like this. I still believe that at these times of the game, you take this clock and you just wear it down with your running game.
Here's Stacy once again. Chan Gailey, of course, your former head coach in Dallas, and he talked about his philosophy. He said, clock management, keeping the defense off the field. It's all part of my philosophy because I started as a defensive coach, so I understand. He was the defensive coordinator at Air Force early in his career.
You understand how hard it is. I've talked to defensive players. They say there's nothing more frustrating than knowing what the offense is trying to do in the run game and not being able to stop it. And that's the commitment to the run. And it's, you look back through his history, he's had running backs have some of their best years under him as an offensive coordinator.
Third down and 10. Here comes the blitz. Fitzpatrick gets rid of it. Marshall, the intended receiver. Pass was broken up by Quentin Dunbar. No flags. There has still not been an accepted penalty in this game.
Well, I think we got awful close here. Let's see how Quentin Dunbar is on the outside. He's good there. Maybe beyond the 5 yards, a little bit of contact. So Brandon Marshall thinks we should have had our first flag of the afternoon. Dunbar doesn't.
Played wide receiver in college. He's been on the other side. Last game without accepted penalty on either side, 1940, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. 49-yard attempt for Folk. Folk's kick is no good. So the score remains 34-13 Jets. Folk kicking into the wind.
Had an opportunity to talk to Nick Folk before the game and asked him about the new facility here, and he said, you know what, I don't think it's as bad as the other facility was when you talk about the swirling winds. But I watched him going the other direction, hitting it from 58, 60 in that area. So you wonder right there, was that a little bit of an impact on the winds that have picked up here in the second half? Or was that just a kicker not hitting the ball flush?
So Folk just short from 49 yards out. Talking about it with special teams coach Bobby April. So the Redskins take over, trailing 34-13. Kirk Cousins picked off twice here in the second half. Cousins to the outside. He was looking for Andre Roberts.
I tell you, you can see how hard it is to execute your passing game against this defense. You've got the pressure from the guys up front, but the coverage down the field. That's Marcus Gilchrist, who's listed as a safety, but has corner skills. I mean, he is stride for stride with Andre Roberts.
Gilchrist had one of the Jets' interceptions earlier, Revis the other. Redskins led 13-10 at the half. Jets with 24 consecutive points here in the second half. Cousins complete to Roberts. Cromartie knocks him out of bounds after a gain of 6.
Well, we talked at the top, there's a lot of cliches out there in the NFL. You got the next man up mentality. Coach Barry at Washington likes to say, starters in waiting because of the injury situation that happens in this league. And while all these guys out today, you put that plan in place, but your margin for error shrinks. And in the first half, the offense, they took advantage of the opportunities the defense gave them. Here, they have not played to the level they need to play with when that margin shrinks due to all these injuries.
Redskins also take advantage of short fields. Here comes some flags. It's a false start.
False start, number 67. Offense, 5-yard penalty remains. Third down.
The record from the 40s is safe. I know you're very frustrated with that, Kenny.
Happened 4 times. The last back in 1940. 75 years ago. First accepted penalty on either side. It was the center, Josh Laribas. Saw Trenton Robinson heading to the Redskins locker room. Chris Thompson unable to haul it in. And there is another flag, 2 in a row.
Illegal use of hands to the face, number 91. Defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So how about that? We go 50 minutes without an accepted penalty and then 2 in a row.
They come in bunches, Kenny. But right there, an opportunity with Chris Thompson underneath. They had dropped him in coverage. He was wide open. Coming in on the right-hand side. You can see, sometimes it gets there if you can get it off. You got to get it off. And in that situation, Sheldon Richardson not only left it there, but kind of gave it a little bit more thrust.
New set of downs. First and 10, 45-yard line. Catch is made by Rashad Ross for a first down. And then Ross slips at the Jets' 39-yard line, a 16-yard catch and run. Redskins quickly up to the line in a 3-possession game. From the Jets' 39. Cousins underneath with Thompson. Right there to make the tackle is David Harris.
And not a favorable position for your offensive lineman in this situation. Everybody knows in a 3-possession game, you're going to be in a passing situation. Everything goes to the defensive side, the defensive line. This offensive line has hung in there today under some tough conditions.
Second and 7, Thompson is hit hard after making the catch by DeMario Davis.
The Jets are just saying, you want to take that little shot right there, go ahead, but we're going to come up, we're going to hit Chris Thompson hard every time. He doesn't even have the opportunity to turn around and square his shoulders.
So now 3rd down and 2 for the Redskins. Cousins looking on 3rd down, and the pass incomplete as it sails behind Andre Roberts. Redskins will leave their offense on the field. 3-possession game on 4th down and 2.
Coming out of the inside part of the bunch, presses out, tries to extend and get back inside. Again, there's 3 Jet defenders around that throw. So
clock at 1. Redskins do not get the stop off in time.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still fourth down.
You know, we got close in the first half to a delayed game. You know, you would expect maybe more situations like that with Josh Laribas in there at center for the first time in his career. There's a lot that goes on. You know, there's a lot of control in this offense with the center that has, you know, protections, calling out people. He works hand in hand with that quarterback. So, you know, that might be one bright spot here for the Redskins.
Been a flag fest on this drive. 3 of the last 7 plays. That Philly Pittsburgh game in 1940, they've got nothing to worry about. 4th down and 7, high snap. Cousins throws and the catch is made for a first down by Jamison Crowder. 18-yard pass play with just over 8 minutes remaining.
It's a nice throw catch there. Jets are having trouble getting lined up. You'd think Kirk Cousins would try and get that tempo up.
Here's Thompson on the screen. Inside the 10. Down for the 5 and then knocked out of bounds by Davis.
Kind of getting into that red zone area. We talked about it before. Let's watch the screen here. Chris Thompson's going to go out. See how the timing is. So that we've talked about all these new linemen up front. Now that's everybody that's brand new on that left side. Guard, left tackle that's involved in that screen. That was nice timing. Well executed.
Goes the goal from the 5 and Thompson is bottled up. Trevor Riley, first Jet, in on the tackle. Second and goal with 7 minutes to play. Redskins scored 13 points off turnovers in the first half. Jets have scored 14 off turnovers here in the second half. Second and goal from the 6. Cousins' throw is caught down at the 1-yard line by Carrier.
See what kind of they're going to keep up this tempo, keep that same personnel group on the field right here.
Nice play made by Derek Carrier, the ex-49er. Haul it in. On third and goal, it's Thompson. And he cannot get across. Calvin Pryor. Another nice play.
Yeah, this is your 2-minute personnel grouping when you talk about the skill positions. This is not a real big goal line set. So, you know, Chris Thompson, a good, difficult matchup in the passing game, but as a goal line runner, maybe not one of the strengths in his game. So from a personnel standpoint, the Redskins are electing to stay with this grouping down here on 4th down.
4th and goal from the 2. Three receivers to the right. Now Thompson shifts to the right side of Cousins. Cousins looking. He throws, and it's incomplete. Dexter McDougal on the coverage. Crowder, the intended receiver. So the Jets hold and get the ball back.
Today's game is sponsored by T-Mobile. Switch to the Data Strong network.
All New York Jets here in the second half. They trailed 13-10 at halftime. Scored on their first 4 possessions of the half. Lead by 21 with 5.5 minutes remaining. After stopping the Redskins on 4th and goal from the 2, Jets start from the 2-yard line, coming out of the end zone. It is Zach Stacy. Ryan Fitzpatrick has thrown for 2 touchdowns, ran for 1. Chris Ivory, 146 yards on the ground. And how about Brandon Marshall? First Jet with 4 consecutive 100-yard receiving games. You have to go back to 68-69. Don Maynard, the last to do it, 4 straight games. And another Jets note, remember Fitzpatrick's 18-yard touchdown run in the third quarter? Longest TD run by a Jets quarterback since Richard Todd in 1980 against the Saints.
You're just looking for history today.
Well, by the way, the Jets lost that game to New Orleans. It was the Saints' only win of the season. They finished 1-15, but Richard Todd scored from 31 yards out. Richard Todd, who wore the same number as Ryan Fitzpatrick. Third down and 8, Zach Stacy. Now the Jets will punt it away as we hit 4:01 on the clock. Redskins use a timeout.
Another big hit by Deshaun Goldston. This Redskin defense, first half, played extremely well, taking the ball away. Put in some tough positions here in the second half by the offense with the turnovers by the Redskins offense. But again, coming into the game, I had a plan. I knew the margin for error was going to be small with all the injuries, but you're not going to be happy with what your group accomplished. It's been a tough loss last week to the Atlanta Falcons. That interception, pick six in overtime. Today you come in, you have a nice first half to open the game. Can't sustain it here in the second half.
Redskins home for Tampa Bay next week. Then their bye week, and then a trip to Foxborough. Quigley punting for only the second time today, and it is blocked and recovered in the end zone for a touchdown by Rashad Ross.
Looked like Rashad Ross came from the interior part of that punt rush team. So the offense can't get it in. See, probably coming out of this grouping right here, I'd say it looked like there was a miscommunication with the front because he came perfectly clean up the middle. I don't think it was Rashad Ross. I think it was actually Jerron Johnson who gets it, number 20.
And then Ross recovered. So Johnson the block, the recovery by Ross. How about the first two NFL touchdowns for Ross? Both here at MetLife Stadium last month. A 101-yard return on a kickoff. And now he recovers the block punt in the end zone. Following the block by Johnson. So a late touchdown on special teams scored by the Redskins.
We showed you that bunch that occupied everybody and it got everybody's eyes there, but you see those two guys highlighted on the right side. Nobody blocks them. And Jerron Johnson from the inside, that's a quick, direct path right to the punter's foot. So that little bunch got everybody confused.
And now the onside kick bounces, and looks like the Redskins thought they had it, and now it's recovered by the Jets.
Mason Foster.
Bounce.
Mason Foster had it. You can't execute an onside kick much better than that.
And then it was Kellen Davis of the Jets pouncing on it.
Wow. Watch 54, Mason Foster. He's got it right there. And he loses it. Good hustle by Kellen Davis coming down. Oh, what a big missed opportunity for the Redskins right there.
It was punched away by Eric Decker. So a great play to knock it away from Foster. Coming into this weekend, teams were 0 for 18 in attempting to recover onside kicks.
We got
0 for 18.
Got close to the first one right there. Should have had it. Washington should have had that.
But instead, the Jets on first down, hand it off to Stacy. And now the Redskins will use their second timeout. Fox Sports is proud to collaborate with Stand Up to Cancer, a groundbreaking initiative that accelerates cancer research and gets new therapies to patients quickly. For more information, visit foxsportsupports.com. Two-possession game following the recovery in the end zone by Rashad Ross. And then the Redskins nearly recovered the onside kick attempt.
Oh, that would have been two huge plays by Ben Kotwika's special teams group to follow up a block punt for a touchdown and then get the onside kick, give the ball back to your offense.
Kotwika, the Jets special teams coach just 2 years ago. On the toss, it is Stacy. And now the Jets facing a 3rd and long. As we head to Los Angeles, Redskins call their final timeout. Check in with Kurt.
Well, Peyton Manning threw his first touchdown of the day, and boy, did they need it. 75 yards to Emmanuel Sanders. That was right after Peyton had thrown a pick 6. Denver up 23-20 at Cleveland, but the Browns had the ball at the 25-yard line, less than 3 minutes left. Kenny, Moose, and Holly.
All right, thanks, Kurt.
This may be the most difficult start to an NFL season in being able to speculate who you think is going to win. The way the games go every weekend. I mean, that Denver-Cleveland game, we've got a couple. Miami, a 3-touchdown lead over Tennessee after all the turmoil and transition there. It's just, there's been crazy games week after week.
First game for Dan Campbell as interim head coach of the Dolphins. 3rd down and 12. This is Stacy. So the Jets will punt it away. Washington out of timeouts, so the Jets will let the clock run down. Jets with a 2-touchdown lead. Redskins will get the ball back.
Well, I'd be going for the block again, because if you set up return at this point, you know, I just don't know my offense, you know, has the ability to get down that field quickly enough right now, the way the second half has gone. So you had success with it last time. I'd dial it right up again. Jets squeezing everything in on this one, playing the punt.
Oh, snap. Quigley with an end-over-end kick. It will take a Jets bounce. There is a flag as Quigley was hit. Remember, he drew a penalty earlier on his first punt.
Running into the kicker. Defense, 5-yard penalty. Result of the penalty is a first down.
So no clean punts for Quigley today. 2 penalties. First one, of course, was not accepted, and then his last attempt was blocked.
Well, the rule change this year, where you have to, several years ago, they made the rule change where the punter has to have the ability to land. And, you know, land cleanly, can't land on the players. It's become harder. When you go for a block punt, there was always a point where you know the kick was going to happen, and you're always trying to get to that point. Well, that also means that's where he's going to be coming down with that off leg. So you have to understand that in these situations, when you're going for the block, you also have to be able to allow the punter to come down cleanly.
So a reprieve for the Jets. 1st and 10 from the 44-yard line. Zach Stacy. Stacy out to the 47. Redskins are out of timeouts. Redskins had a 3-point lead at the half, 13-10. Jets kicked the field goal, and then the interception by Darrelle Revis led to a Ryan Fitzpatrick 18-yard touchdown run, and this gave the Jets a 20-13 lead. Jets would then score touchdowns on their next 2 possessions as well. Fitzpatrick connecting with both Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker. Jets lead by 14 as Fitzpatrick hands it off to Stacy. And we hit the 2-minute warning here at MetLife Stadium. Jets looking to match their victory total of a season ago. They're 2 minutes away. 2 minutes remaining. Jets lead by 14. On 3rd down and 2, it is Stacy, and he picks up the first down. So the Jets will be able to run out the clock. Now some extracurricular activity.
Yeah, we got to get that separated.
Bruno Giacomini in the middle of it for the Jets.
So we talked about situational football, that 4-minute area where you're trying to take the clock out. Chris Ivory on the sideline looks to be fine right now. You kind of wonder why isn't he out there? And Chan Gailey told us, because of how physical he runs, I've got to be careful with how many reps I allow. So this is just a situation with Zach Stacy. Let him go out. He's been running well here this afternoon. Let him go out and finish this game in that 4-minute drill scenario.
Just take out their right tackle, Giacomini, who was in the middle of it, replaced by Brent Qualley as Fitzpatrick takes a knee. Great job by our entire crew today, led by producer Barry Landis, director Brian Lilly, associate director Joe Williams, broadcast associate Paul Marlborough, our technical producer Ron McGuggins, technical director Matt Wilson. Thanks to statisticians Rick Camps and Barry Hockhauser. Our spotter is Ben Boma, as the Redskins will drop to 2-4. Their second straight defeat. Host Tampa Bay next Sunday. Jets out to a 4-1 start for the first time since 2010, second year under Rex Ryan. Jets 4-12 last year. Now 4-1 under first-year head coach Todd Bowles.
And we'll be with the Redskins next week against Tampa Bay. Hopefully they get a couple of guys back. They were close this week with a couple of their players that were ruled out of the game today. That's going to be the big thing for them. This is a talented team. Better than I thought they were going to be this year, and they just got to fight through this stretch right here until these guys start coming back onto the roster.
Darrelle Revis with a big interception. Jets over the Redskins. Will return to MetLife in a moment.